Frank, look. Hey guys. Oh boy. Oh boy. Hey. So I am just getting ready to head down to vote and wanted to share with you what's going on. No, you have to stay. You have to stay. If you can figure it out by now, we're a dog office and kind of keeps the stress level down, especially when stunts like this are being pulled. So it's been a pretty crazy week, as you have seen in the media and have been seeing on social media. But today was a particularly crappy example and failure of Congress. Let me tell you what happened. So earlier in the week, we had heard rumblings that there could potentially be a bill or a series of bills on police and law enforcement issues. But the Dems, being in disarray, they were fighting amongst themselves, particularly between the Pelosi establishment squad and then the actual squad. See, the squad is not going to support any police measures, so they were banding together and holding up these bills. Now keep in mind that these bills don't actually really support law enforcement, but any attempt to look like they would is not good for their image. So earlier today, there was what is called a rule vote. And how it works up here in Congress is before a bill comes to the floor, you vote on the rule. And the rule determines how the bill gets to the floor, meaning is it open, is it closed, is it modified, do they suspend the reading of the bill, do we waive the rule on the time requirements to read the bill and have it presented before 72 hours, things like that. And the rule comes before the actual vote on the bill. Why is that critical? Because if the rule fails, then the vote doesn't happen. So the rule is really where you see the parties voting party line, unless it's a controversial bill amongst the party that's bringing it to the floor. Interestingly enough, in this particular situation, we saw the squad being pressured heavily to vote for the rule, which would have brought this series. There's 4 of these police bills coming to the floor right now. That's where I'm headed. I'm headed to the Capitol to vote. So I'm having you guys walk with me. But explaining how this all works, I think it's really important. Sorry, I'm in the elevator. So you have this rule package where the squad is getting pressured by Nancy Pelosi to vote for the rule. All of the Republicans voted against the rule, minus 1, who just conveniently didn't show up. We can dig into that later. But what the squad did was they got pressured, like I said, very heavily actually, I'll go this direction. I'm gonna take you guys down the Cannon Tunnel. So they kind of do a weird thing where 3 or 4 of them are like, okay, we're gonna vote with the Republicans and try to bring this package down. One of them did the real chicken shit thing and voted present, and one of them ended up being forced to vote yes to advance the bill forward. Now, it was pretty interesting if you were watching C-SPAN, which I don't know who does, but you could watch this whole thing play out on the House floor. And it actually ended up being Ilhan Omar who was pressured into voting yes, but she stood on the House floor saying she wanted to vote no. It was a very, very dramatic scene. Hey, thank you. So, say hey to Capitol Police. So, oh hey, Andrew. Got one of my colleagues here, Andrew Clyde. So we're now walking to the House floor to vote. So we lost the vote by 1 vote, the rule, which meant that these 4 bills now get to go to the floor after a debate, and we have to vote on them. So we had the opportunity to stop this, and it failed by 1. They're from Wyoming. You can guess Who's responsible for us having to have this fight 47 days out from election? Because let's be clear, the only reason that we are having this debate here today is because crime has surged around America and it's a losing issue for the left. And so they need to, not for any other reason, because it's not like they care, they being the left, Nancy Pelosi, they need to say that they did something on crime. When in reality, all of this stuff won't do a damn thing. In fact, when you read these bills, the very same bills that they passed last year in March of 2021, they actually were defunding police departments, and that is actually in the legislative text. So it's all just a big sham. It's wild to think that people actually believe this. So you're going to hear in the news that there was a couple of bills that were passed today, which it's going to be close. You're going to see that there were a lot of bills passed today around law enforcement, right? Don't be fooled by the titles. The titles are something along the lines of, invest to protect and no more victims and all that stuff, right? The bill title has nothing to do with the actual legislative text of what's in there. Hello. So it's just another day of games in your nation's capital, and all the more reason why we have got to take this House back and take the Senate, and we have to make sure that when we're putting our bills forward, they actually do the thing that they are designed to do, that they are named after. No more of these games. So it's a little bit about the process. We'll be voting for probably the next hour because, time up here doesn't really matter. We're supposed to have 15 and 5-minute votes. And that always turns into 45 minutes or 20 minutes. Right, Dan? And so, again, just another frustrating example of how politics is taking over what should be a very bipartisan, America First issue. We should be tackling crime head on. And what we're doing is we're actually forcing these departments, these communities across America who have done the difficult thing, especially in the face of hyperinflation and crime and all these other issues, they have done the very difficult thing of funding their police. And you know what's crazy? The ones that did it right, that did the right thing, now they're being told that they have to fund the departments that were defunded by the communities that voted to defund them. It is wild. There's nothing fair about this, and it's all BS. But I just want to come on here and tell you guys what was going on, because it's just crazy. Just remember that. When you see the news, just remember that today is nothing more than punishing all the communities that voted to fund their police and do it at the expense of those that voted to defund. We're literally rewarding them. So thank you guys so much for everything. If you have questions, let us know. The vote is happening right now. It's going to be a tight one, but I think we may see some surprises on who votes which way. So I've got to run because I got to get on the House floor, and I can't take you guys on the House floor with me. You can see, but I'll check in a little bit later and let y'all know how it goes. So take care. God bless.